Hello and welcome to Let's Play Chess Titans. Today we're going to be doing hopefully the final game against level 10 as black, so let's just go into the options, switch our color, and wait for the first move to be played. So it's probably going to play either d4 or c4 like it always does. I think that maybe in all the times that I've played it, I've seen it play e4 once. But no, it's pretty much always d4, c4. I've been looking into playing some better openings against d4. I had been going with the King's Indian Defense, which is fine, I guess, but I'd like something a bit more my style. So, waiting for it to choose the first move. It is slow like that. Okay, c4, what did I say? So, maybe I can play c6. And it'll play d4, and then it'll be more like a d4 opening, because even though I'm terrible at those, I'm still better at them than c4 openings, which I don't know at all. So let's just see if we can't transpose into something here. I also know already that the file size for this is going to be something fierce. Already at 18 megabytes. Maybe I'll need to tinker with the settings again. I don't know, but in 2 minutes, 18 megabytes. That's could be better. Okay, it did that. So now we're going to play d4, just opening stuff here. He might play, I don't know, knight f3. Or I'd go for knight f6, bishop f5, or g4. I'm not sure what's best. Looking to push maybe e6 or e5 someday. Just general fun times. So let's see. In this position, the queens are both free to come out. Remember, there's some tricks around the center. He brings his queen out here, intensifying the pressure over here. I think that usually the best move is just queen here to b6. Then if takes, take the queen, and then after he retakes, you can retake. And then white, although he does have the A file, will have some weak pawns, so could be good times for black. More likely, though, he would take than he'd take, leaving me with the funny pawns. Okay, so we have a few options here. We could take here, try and get b5 in to support it. That's what, the Slav, the semi-Slav. Or we could play the bishop out somewhere, or we could play e6 right now. I think I can get away with taking. That's a legit opening, right? Taking there. This takes me out of any book that I was in whatsoever. Actually, I have an opening book right here. Haven't used it, but Let's see if I can find what we're doing here while the computer moves. Let's see, so this would be a closed game. I'm going to pretend that it was D4, D5, C4, C6 instead of what was actually played, but I'm not going to use this to cheat. I'm just going to look up what the name of this opening is. And I probably shouldn't talk while looking down because then my mic won't be picking it up okay, so now B5 here, support that pawn, hang on to the extra pawn. I'm going to want to be playing bishop B7, both protecting this pawn, getting on this diagonal which could open up, and protecting this rook. Okay, let's see, so closed games. Okay, so it's not the semi-Slav. I think I might have mentioned that as an option. Okay, so here I think that I play knight d5, supported by a pawn. If takes takes, then I have my nice pawn center back, and I'm up a pawn. And this pawn is more supported, so like that wouldn't back the pawn and wreck my pawn structure or anything like that. So I think that this is good for me. It might still be book theory okay for white, but, well, I don't know, because right now I'm just trying to figure out what opening this is. Not the semi-Slav. Okay, has it moved yet? It has moved. Okay, so the threat here is he wants to take here, take with the knight. And I can't just support it with this pawn because after takes with the knight, if I take, I'm losing that rook. So let's see, my options here would be, I guess, support it from this diagonal with the bishop or the queen. If I come here with the queen, I don't know, maybe this would be good, then like coming in for an attack. Not sure, just want to be careful. I could take the knight, then after he takes, play up here, because after takes, then, I think I should be fine again because there's nothing on this. He might. Yeah, it's probably fine. And it will clear this diagonal for my bishop later, like I was talking about, so. Let's continue looking for what opening this is while he contemplates how to recapture with the pawn. Okay, I'm not finding it. Did I skip a page? Or maybe it's not a closed game even though it starts with d4. Or maybe it's just not an opening in this book because this book does not cover every opening. Okay, he took as expected, so let's just support that. I'm guessing takes. Takes is going to happen. Maybe I should have considered queen a5, actually. It would pin this pawn for the moment. And attack this pawn. I suppose he could just play the bishop out, but maybe this diagonal will be a bit stunted. in the meantime. Also, I think that maybe one of the ideas of this opening was an eventual c5 push, which I won't get to do if that is there, but I don't know, maybe I can get my e6, bishop b7, and then maybe get this knight over to d5 with like a d7, b6, d5 kind of move. Okay, how about queen a5 now? Probably not, because he can just move the bishop, and I'm not seeing anything that my queen has to do over there. Okay, so now we're looking for, I guess, an e6 to give this bishop some room to see. Wonder if he can play bishop over here now, actually, to a3. Then if I play that up, he takes, I have to take, and then I can't castle. Maybe something I should have considered. Maybe. But at any rate, I'm still up a pawn, and I don't see an immediate attack, so as long as I can hold, this should be winning. If he does take, then I do have that queenside passed pawn, even though it would be backward. For anyone who doesn't know, a backward pawn would be a pawn like this, where it doesn't have any pawns behind it to support it. But yeah, and maybe I could even sacrifice over here. So I think I will play e6 now to prevent him from doing so. Get us locked on this d5 square, which is like a virtual hole in his position, since this pawn is blockading the c pawn from ever controlling it. I suppose it's not so much a hole since it's on my side, but still a good outpost square. I also might someday, if it ever becomes possible, want to get a knight over here to b3 or d3, as those are legitimate holes in the position that I have control over. But for now, I think I just want to get my dark square bishop out, maybe castle, get that knight to d5. And all that. Okay, he finally takes, so not much debate here. I just want to take this bishop now as a nice long open diagonal. And this c3 pawn could become a legitimate target for me later. Also, if I did sack for this pawn and he took with the pawn at some point, then I would have 3 connected passed pawns, which might not be worth the whole piece for a pawn thing, but it could be interesting. Especially if it's like really near the end game, you know, queens are off, we're down to a couple minor pieces each. Then that might actually be worth looking into, but just something to keep in mind for down the road. Okay, so could this e-file become a problem? I'm not seeing anything immediate. My bishop can always come up and block. And if this pawn is gone to open the e-file, even though I'd hate to have to do it, I would have like an f6 to block and some extra pressure put on it. I wouldn't be able to block from this angle, but I don't anticipate that this will be a problem because, you know, he pushes what I just take with the bishop. And that's good game. That's game over for white if he did that. So that's not even something that I'm worried about right now. He might wish to I don't know, play the bishop or the knight over here, so maybe I'll want to play h6 soon, or just get the bishop out. Getting the bishop out seems better for now. This pawn on c4 is doing a nice job of not letting him play the d3. So let's just get this knight to the square it wants to be on. I suppose he might have ideas of moving the knight somewhere and getting his bishop on to challenge this diagonal, but as long as I have control over that d5 square, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, yeah, this was a Slav game. Like I thought, not a semi-Slav, a full-on Slav. So if I could trade this down to an endgame, then I'd be up a passed pawn. If trade downs occur, then I also might have an idea of, oh, I don't know, an a5, b4 push for two connected passed pawns. Now, I know that I'm giving up my classical good bishop for his dark square bishop with this move I'm offering to, but it's also developing instead of just moving the queen and all that. And two, this bishop doesn't really have a good place to go anytime this game, it's looking like, with these pawns that black has covering all of its squares. So if we trade that off, it's developing the queen, developing the bishop, which did get traded off, getting some protection for this light square bishop, well, allowing me to castle next move and connect. And again, I think it's just general good times. Also, I have control over this g5 square for now. Something of note. Very soon I'm going to be looking to get a piece to d5. And really I don't see any quick routes to, say, b3, but maybe if I could get knight f4 to d3 in later, that could be a strong knight. Just something to consider. Of course, while the bishop is on it, I wouldn't want to do that because bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and I'd just lose a pawn on d3. But I think I want to castle now, maybe get a rook over on, oh, I don't know, the D and C files, perhaps. Okay, I guess he might be wanting to try and get in here. I'm going to go ahead and play that knight to d5. If he plays the knight there, I can just kick it away. If he plays the queen there after takes, knight takes, I'm winning this pawn and I'm unstoppable. Okay, looking at the book, I think that white might have misplayed this. That's enough of the book, though. I just wanted to figure out what opening this was. It is the Slav. Okay, so not sure what he'll be looking to do next. All my pieces are protected by at least one other piece, except for, I guess, this rook and this pawn. But those are not immediate targets, so no sense really even thinking about that. Okay, he's offering a queen trade. he is offering a queen trade. Now, shouldn't this be good for me? If, since I have that extra pawn and it's passed? Or is he going to get rook pressure over on this file? Well, after rook takes, then he is defending this pawn, I suppose, but then also maybe I'm always threatening a fork here and he has to take, then I can get the c-pawn rolling. I don't know, so I think that taking is best here. I am helping him double rooks over here, but it's hard for him to get another piece on a6. And I don't know, maybe I could double myself because he can't ever get the knight on b4 while my knight is looking at it. So then if that ever happened, I'd just take, he'd have to take, and now my c-pawn is passed instead of my a-pawn. So he's going to take, I'm going to castle. Or maybe h6 would be better than castling. Keeping the knight out, and if the knight can't go over there, then that means that, the bishop can't go over here anytime soon. Because the knight can go this way, but, eh. So maybe castles, then I'm not sure. I am not sure, but this rook ever moves, I get this pawn. And the bishop has to kind of eye this pawn chain to be okay. It doesn't. It does not. Well, I'm not sure what it's doing over there. So, should I just castle now or play the king up? Because he doesn't really have any dark square threats. And king position could help me in the endgame, maybe like for an f6 or something. So I don't think that I even need the castle here. No sense in castling when I could just put my king on the same rank as this, same rank as this undefended bishop. But, again, I don't think that there will be a breakthrough anytime soon. I suppose he could try something with maybe, like, rook over here to b8, then a bishop or a knight taking over here. But it just doesn't seem good to me. Okay, so he has his bishop there. Makes sense, I suppose. Makes sense, I suppose. So now I have to figure out how to make progress. Now, if I play a5 now, he's just going to play the rook there. And if I do that, takes. I don't know, it could still be good for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and double. This pawn is now pinned, by the way. Or this pawn. So this pawn is not actually defended. But he doesn't have anything on it, so eh. So right now I'm looking for, I guess, a5 and a potential b4 at some point. Maybe scoot my king all the way over. Okay, he's attacking that pawn, but it's not worth anything. Because I can just do this. Also, maybe to take into consideration would be tactics where if he takes there, I take here. But I think that that isn't the best. The thought being that if he took here, I took here, he takes here, then I can take here. But, I don't know, it just didn't seem like something that I wanted to get into. Okay, so a5 is still out of the question for now, because then this... Okay, I'm seeing that his rooks are in forking distance, though it's... or are in a position where they could be forked, but I don't think that's going to be a big thing. So I am just going to try and scoot my king over to this b6 square. I don't really want it sitting on c6 because it would block in my bishop and then my knight could be pinned. Of course, I am putting it on the same file as a rook, and that could, I don't know, lead to trouble with this pawn. Maybe that's actually not what I want to do, thinking about it. But okay, what's that doing? That's not doing anything. So could this pawn really come under fire after king b6? I don't think so, because he doesn't really have anything to attack it with immediately. I suppose he could move the knight back. But then after that, maybe I can just move my rook over to c8 now. And I'm not really making any progress at all, am I? Maybe better would be just bishop up. Then pushing. Okay, so now I think that he's wasting moves. So let's get that bishop up. This rook is still tied down to the defense of that pawn. Just something of note. So now I think that what I'm looking for is an a5, b4 type deal. Get the two connected passed pawns, one of which would be guarded by the knight, the other of which is guarded by, well, nothing, but I can transfer my rooks to the b file and play c3, I think. Okay, so again with a nothing move. So let's go ahead and push that. If he doubles rooks, then well, there's still no immediate threat if he doubles rooks, so maybe even then I could go with the king. b6 idea, since there wouldn't be a rook on the b file anymore. Okay, there's that. Now I wonder, can I do this? He moves it back. Okay, that's not the greatest. Yeah, that pawn, huh? That pawn. This is going to become a long and torturous endgame, I can tell. Takes. No. No, that's a stupid idea. Okay, maybe I can trade advantages. Move the knight up here, attacking the bishop. Then after the bishop moves back, I don't. Then I maybe take the. No, not take the knight. But if the bishop moved back, trying to still be on this pawn, I could take the knight. Then he has the shattered pawn structure over here, too. Knight f4 anyway. Then if he moves back here, takes. Maybe I have knight here threatening the pawn. He can only defend by pushing. Then I move back to f4. And what does he have to defend it? He can't move the bishop back to If he moves the bishop back to f1, I think that I win this h-pawn, is what I'm saying. Okay, so now I can take his bishop, take his knight, and then that looks like a potentially winning pawn ending, where he has the pawn islands and the doubled pawns, and I have this passed pawn, soon to be two passed pawns. Or actually, after takes, maybe just go with that push I was talking about earlier. Because, I mean, what's he do? He's not on this pawn anymore. So he has to, like, I don't know, take, and then trading off the rooks is almost mandatory. Maybe I should have taken the knight off before the push, because the knight will be protected by this rook after, but I don't know. I mean, rook here, and while they're doubled, they don't really have a whole lot to do, and I'm going to be pushing these monster pawns later. Okay, so takes. It's gonna take this rook. I don't think it's best to take that rook. You take that rook, and what do you do? If I can just get these pawns up a bit more, they will become unstoppable. Well, I am calling right now, these guys, guaranteed queen. Guaranteed queen. Okay, so he took. That actually makes things easier. I'm up a pawn. I have two connected passed pawns versus his zero connected passed pawns. Or make that zero passed pawns, period. My king position is more advanced, though I don't know that that really is a huge deal right now. But if I take the knight, he takes, then I get king c6, d5 in. Okay, so now I could go ahead and play that up. And he has to block with the knight. Then I can play here, threatening bishop, yeah, bishop b4. Walking into a pin is not so smart. Walking into a pin. This should be over shortly. Left clicked. Or right clicked. I confuse the two because left clicking is the main click, but right clicking, but right is my main hand since I'm right-handed. So I think, oh, I do things with my right, therefore right click. So that's why I confused the two. Okay, so he has to block with the knight. It's the only move that doesn't lose on the spot. Except that it does lose on the spot. It just loses softest on the spot. It's not a hard, oh, you lose. So now he might have to play like something like f4, so that when I play my bishop up, he has rook here, so then takes with the rook, takes with the bishop, takes with the king, bam, c2, queen. So this is just really general bad news for him. Okay, he's played it, but it doesn't matter because now I get to trade down. Then get two queens, actually, with these pawns. Both of these pawns can turn into queens. Both of those pawns are going to turn into queens. In fact, I wonder if he's not going to play rook f2. Because if he does, then the evaluation is just like plus 8 billion for black, which I suppose would be minus 8 billion. But now he's letting me force the trade downs. So now rook takes is forced, bishop takes, king takes, c2. He can't stop c1 equals queen. Then I can just play, b3, b2, b1, queen. Get all the queens. And then mating him from there should be trivial. Should be a trivial task. I mean, I could even win if after rook takes rook I just play c2, followed by b3, b2. Though I would want to move that off the file, so that the rook wouldn't take c2 with check. Oops, I lose. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to let the king take here, play c2, c1, b3, b2, b1. Check, 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 checkmate. And it will be general good times. I was kind of thinking that this game would be harder because, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm having more time to think, but I had a harder time against like level 8 and 9, I think, as black. Maybe even level 7. Maybe even level 7. I mean, not that I didn't still completely own them, but still, more of a fight, a harder game. Then again, I have switched openings since then, perhaps, so... Huh. Going for the kamikaze attack. Now I can easily get 3 queens. Like the video if you want me to get 3 queens. See, that's funny because it doesn't matter what you do after the fact, because I'm going to have to finish the game before I can upload this. So, are we looking at king takes pawn now? Or king takes bishop? And yes, I know, for those of you who are saying I could have saved my bishop. But I'm going to be getting queens on the board soon, and the bishop would actually only get in the way. And also, I don't really want him getting in d6 check, because then that ties down my king, and even though my queens could do the work, I'd rather not have the potential for shenanigans. So no matter what he plays, I play c1 equals queen. It doesn't even matter if he does that, because I queen with check. Then he moves down, and I take this with check. And then I laugh in the most evil fashion. No, I don't think I've actually pulled off an evil laugh in any of my videos. I have pulled off an evil laugh while playing chess before, but eh. So what, is he gonna try for something like f5, e6, takes, and oh, I have a passed pawn right next to the king, so it can't do anything. The difference between that and allowing a pawn on d6 is that that pawn is protected, so I can't just pick it off. So now Chess Titans is thinking, stalling the inevitable. Okay, so I can have queen. Yes, I can. So now we want to look for the fastest way to mate him without embarrassing stalemates. So I think that I'm going to want to get a queen down on c6 to cut him off. Then maybe play a little bit of h5 just to cut that off. Then get a second queen, then either do the ladder mate, or step ladder as I hear it called, or if he's hiding over here, queen h1 mate. If he does hide over here in this corner, then the queen on c6 would be pinning this pawn. So no worries there. As long as we leave this as long as we leave this second rank available for the king, I can't stalemate him. So let's see. What do we have? We have b3, b2, b1, 2b, or not 2b. Really, there's no question I'm doing it. Simple mates. I mean, this can't be less than a mate in 10. He might make me have to deal with these pawns, but... So, like, 1... And, okay, let's do that. So, I mean, I've got, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more moves of mine that I could mate him in. I suppose he has, what? Like, 1, 2, 3. So he could, like, maybe force me to play 3 moves, but... But... This is over. Mate and 8 or less. Okay. That move does all of nothing for him. I guess. With possibly a side helping of Queen A1 checkmate. In fact, I wonder if I can force him into a situation where I force him to queen and then checkmate on A1. Or H1, I'm sorry. Have I been saying A1? I've been meaning H1. So, like, if I get stuff over here. Okay, yeah, that's not happening. He's doing the delaying moves. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him sack all the pawns. Though if he plays here, then just up takes up. Oh no, I'm going to queen, except haha, check. Checkmate. So if he pushes that pawn, then I don't care, I'm not going to take it. In fact... Nah, I probably shouldn't try and force him to queen. But then again, this is my last video in the Let's Play Chess Titans series, so... Should I do something spectacular at the cost of additional file size? I don't know. This is already going to be like, what, an hour-long video? Because Chess Titans moves so slowly. I mean, I'm not counting the moves. Chess Titans doesn't count the moves, but if you go through the video and watch my moves, like, all of my thinking has been done, for the large part, on Chess Titans' turn. And, oh, it moved, okay. Care, because if you take, then I have a mate soon. But, I mean, most of my stuff has just been in 10 seconds or less playing a move. Because my position has been winning for quite some time now. Okay, so now mate him 2. Let's make him queen. It would amuse me ever so much. Oh no, I can't stop this queen now. Gasp, he's going to queen, what will I do? Ah, haha, mate. Okay, so that concludes the game and the Let's Play Chess Titans series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you're actually still watching this an hour into it, thank you. This is it for me playing Chess Titans, but I will continue to make videos of me playing other humans over the internet, so if that's something that you think you'd like to see, feel free to check it out. I am, of course, not as good as some of the other people who do this, like King's Crusher, Chess Network, Amazingoid. He mostly live streams, but he does have a YouTube channel, and I could link to that. But thanks for watching, and see you next time, though not on this series. Bye.